Welcome to the pod at My Village.
Where we're going to have fun talking all things My Village Ministries, family preservation, and the church's involvement in this important work.
We are Phil and Mel, and we don't know anything about running a podcast, but we know a little bit about family preservation.
Melody.
Yes, sir.
It's good to see you.
Thanks. I've been non-existent for
I actually
quite
forgot
some
what
time.
you look like.
Yeah, that makes sense. I did get tanner. Been
Why
in the
is
sun
that?
a lot. I have been a snowbird and have not been in Ohio for the last 3 weeks while you all suffered through the weather.
You did pull like a 72-year-old move.
It was a 72-year-old move. Do you think, could you picture being a snowbird when you're older? Like literally you're doing ministry and living life somewhere like Ohio and you go for like 2 months. We'll call it 2 months. Just to another place, just to be warm.
This is going to make me sound like I'm something special. But if I had something missional to do as well, and not just, maybe I will just want to live it up. I don't know. I'd love to be like a Barnabas, to like some ministry or church down there that
find like the Church of Hawaii, go minister to them for a while.
Yeah. That way you can justify your snowbirdness.
Yeah. It's hard for me in this current season to picture just like 2 months of being unplugged and unintentional in the way a snowbird maybe normally would. But if you did, that feels like a good excuse, like find someone to serve while you're there.
Yeah, no, I think that's what I would want to do.
Yeah.
Mel, this is not one of our questions, but if you could just quickly answer, it won't be quick, but that's fine. Over your 3 weeks down south, what was like the most enjoyable and what was the most impactful moment of your 3 weeks?
Well, the most impactful, hands down, was, this is going to sound cliche, but I think I was up every morning with the sunrise on the beach and just had like very sweet times with the Lord, with no other people. And it's ironic because I even taught about it at the conference, how like the Lord has given me some really sweet worship times just in my car driving or doing dishes during these busy seasons of being a mom. But there also still is something about watching this glorious like ocean scene with the sun rising on it that brings about a sweet connection to your creator. So that was the most impactful. The most fun we went to, so we were at the conference, then we went on a cruise. The Marshall family went on a cruise out of Miami for 1 week. And then I was with my sister in Atlanta helping her for 1 week. That's the 3 weeks. So it's like 2 ministry things and 1 fun thing, but there was fun throughout. The most fun thing I did was we went to a water park in Atlantis on one of our cruise stops. And they have a lazy river that is 1 mile long.
That's not real.
It's real. It takes like an hour to go around.
My word.
And you just...
Is there any flow or... like, how you can just kind of... Is there like a true lazy river where you could sit in a...
No, it is... You sit in an inner tube. It is not lazy. There's like rapids.
Wow.
There's lifeguards that like direct you into like a rapid water slide type part where if your butt's hanging down too low in the tube, like you will die basically. You have to be like up on top of your tube. Why is it?
Because like rocks or something or what?
Yeah, there's like rocks and rock features that like, it really is like a man-made rapid. And there's this one part that's like a wave pool, like waves are coming down and then you just get shot out.
Yeah. What if like part of this section there was actually like gators or like piranhas?
Yeah. That would be... They might lose some guests on Desire.
No, but if you signed a waiver, I think there'd be a lot of people that would actually enjoy that. Like just like 3-foot gators.
Yeah.
Nothing that could like kill you, but
I
could
fell
take
off
like
a kayak once and in Florida in like a creek.
Yeah, that's scary.
And saw a gator within 5 seconds of being back in my boat.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've been there in the Everglades.
Yeah. My sister and I were kayaking together. And there was a low-hanging branch, and we both leaned the same way, and just the whole boat immediately tipped over. We like dump, I should like lift it and dump it out and climb back in. Yeah. I don't even know if I could do that anymore.
Oh yeah.
And then a gator swam by.
Oh yeah.
Cool. Anyways, the lazy river and the whole water park with the kids was really fun. There's a water slide that does go down. You're not in with the gators or anything, but the landing is like, you kind of like coast along for a while and you're underwater in a tube and there are sharks all around you that obviously can't get to you, but yeah, super cool.
It is cool.
Yeah, I am. Did you survive here without me? Did MVM and...
I thrived.
You did? Yeah. You did tell me that on the phone.
Thrive.
You're doing a lot better.
Yeah.
Without me there.
Mel was so distracting, I realized in my life that I couldn't get anything done.
That makes a lot of sense. You just had a to-do list that you plowed through without me. Do you want me to go away again?
Yeah, I know, I got a lot of stuff. It's like when your spouse leaves for a while, you can just do stuff without getting their permission.
What's the worst thing that you did without my permission?
I'd rather not talk about it. Ben knows, but
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
Since we're on this topic, the question that I prepared for you, because you went on a cruise a year ago, was what is the best and worst thing about a cruise?
Oh, I just this will not be surprising. I just love food so much. Even if it's like only like a 6.2
Yeah.
goodness. I'm so gonna enjoy the amount of food that I get to consume.
Did you eat gluten on your cruise or were you
No, it was pretty good
pretty
actually.
good?
Yeah, there's a couple times I cheated, but nothing significant.
Our kids love the soft serve. They just
Oh yeah. Jay, I
constantly
think had at least like a baker's dozen every day. Like
of
how
ice cream
yeah, there's
cones.
like be one like how's one in your swimsuit pocket right now? You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
how yeah. And it's not melting. I don't know how you pulled that off.
I actually think we could have saved a lot of money by just buying a soft serve machine and putting it at our house, that our children would have had equal enjoyment
That
throughout the
would
whole
be that
cruise.
would be like a good Christmas gift that's just given to the whole family.
It would be.
Yeah.
And a bad
Oh, it'd be
one.
really bad because you'd hate your life every day because
Yeah.
your kids would be
Why
just
are
on the
my kids
sugar
so
high.
wildly
Yeah.
unmanageable? Can't be the soft serve machine we
You
buy
could
them,
have like
but
a soft serve sundae.
sure. That has nice alliteration.
Yeah, and
It feels like something the Marshall family would do.
yeah.
We did Frosty Fridays for a long
Well, that's
time.
a good
Like
call.
you'd get through the school week, and we had those like junior, you can get the key cards where you get free junior Frosties. You just go pick up 5 Frosties for
Yeah.
Frosty Fridays.
Oh, yeah.
I think we did eventually stop because it was too tempting to be like, and throw a couple fries in
Yeah.
there.
Oh, yeah. Again, because that's a good food combination.
But you need to eat them separately.
Okay.
Don't dip.
I bet if we took a poll,
Yeah.
I'd overwhelmingly win on that one.
Lyra listened to our podcast and said that it was horrible of me that I didn't enjoy
Yeah,
Frosties or
it
fries and
is.
Frosties.
Yep.
She was on your team. She also wanted one of my questions for you to be, which one of the Marshall kids is your favorite and why?
Wow.
I was like, I'm not going to ask him that. And also, you think it's you, don't you?
What was the second half? Doesn't
The
even
best
matter at
and
this
worst
point.
part of a cruise.
The
The
worst
best part was the food. What's the worst part of a cruise?
The worst part is like I think for like a 4-hour block, um I had to like adjust to the movement.
Okay. Jeff and I, for like a week afterwards, have been feeling like kind of dizzy.
Yeah.
Did that happen to you after too?
No, we were like on like the world's largest cruise ship, so it was like pretty minimal.
Yeah.
But it was still enough to kind of throw me off a while. It was the
Yeah.
worst. It was actually a way better experience than I would have ever guessed.
Was yours pretty crowded?
Actually, there was like for like also like a 7-hour block, I was worried that Ryden was gonna go overboard. So just like
Sure.
the fear of like him just hurling himself into this open sea.
Yeah.
I did have slight concern.
They do have pretty high walls, but
Yeah, no, yeah.
Ryden's a determined little fella.
Yeah. Anyways, my first question for you.
Okay.
Out of any game show that has ever been in existence, what's the one game show that you are really confident that you would dominate?
Ooh. It's definitely not Jeopardy or Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Jeff is like the trivia guy in our marriage.
So you need one that's just a matter of luck.
No, I'm also not lucky. Is there one that has to do with talking a lot? I'll dominate that one.
What about Family Feud? Do you think your family would do well with Family
I
Feud?
would be great at Family Feud. Would my whole family do well at it? I don't know.
Yeah, what 5 would make the list from your family?
Which 2 are cut? Jeff's definitely in it with me. Lyra's definitely in it with me. Cass. Hope Charlie and Cam can arm wrestle for the last spot. Oh, I mean, you have to pick the 5 oldest, right?
Yeah, probably.
Although, well, yeah, my little boys don't have like all the sport teams memorized or anything like that.
Yeah, I don't
yet.
even think
That
they
would be
would. I think you probably have to be 18.
probably.
So,
It
you
would be
need-
funny if they did Child
Yeah.
Feud, Child Family Feud. Okay. What? I mean, you got to say Price is Right, right? If you've grocery shopped long enough for your family, I think I could give the wheel a really good spin.
Yeah, what I've learned on that, I think you would agree, all the prices are higher than what they really
Yes,
are.
but
And
don't
so
you
you
think
just
you
have
can,
to
like-
tack on like 25%.
Yes, 25% is exactly what I would say.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
have like Tide dishwashing pods
Yeah.
that are
Yeah.
$21.32 or something. And you're
Exactly.
like, how did that happen?
Yeah.
That one would be fun though. It's kind of like a long form game versus like Wheel of Fortune where you just spin and then you have to wait
Yeah.
for your turn.
The thing with that one, you just have to be a guest that is not the last one invited up. Otherwise, you just don't have a
Right. You
chance.
have to be the last one so you can overbid
Yeah,
by
correct.
$1.
Yeah. Yeah, or bid $1.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think I'd be good at pyramid too.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. I'm good
Yeah.
at describing things or like figuring out
Who
what
would
you're
be
describing.
your partner? Like a
Trisha, my
oh,
sister.
yeah, that
She
connection.
thinks very similarly to
Yeah,
me.
there it is.
We're the kind of people who would like play charades or Pictionary. Actually, my cousin and I were playing Pictionary once, and she drew like this shape, and I was like toothpaste, and she was like yes.
It is
Just
amazing when,
knew, yeah, immediately. Who's your Pictionary partner that can?
Ben.
Yeah,
Ben is a
Ben's like, is
phenomenal
that
artist.
kale?
He made like our mascot
He
for
did.
MVM.
Do you want to tell everybody about the mascot?
We'll save that for another pod. That mascot actually may make a guest appearance.
Oh, wow, that's exciting.
It is like it was a definite top 3 staff meeting day when I saw Ben draft during a staff meeting or staff mascot.
People should know that you and Ben are just in the corner giggling during staff meeting.
Yeah,
about
once we
something
hit like the
ridiculous.
2-hour, 12-minute mark, we're like, okay, it's
Yeah.
just our time now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know that you're one of the co-directors and you could make staff meeting only 2 hours long, but you make it 3 hours long, and then there's 48 minutes of nonsense.
Yeah, I built it into the
Yeah.
staff meeting. And again, one of the key reasons I hired Ben.
Hey, maybe you'll get another guy here soon. Any men out there willing to be on the MVM staff? Anyone?
Yeah. Ben actually put in his 2 weeks right now. All right.
All right, let me
wait,
ask you. It's my turn.
Okay.
I'll ask you a more serious question. If we can turn our attention serious. What is your if you can answer this off the cuff, what's your big audacious MVM dream? Like, this is when I retire, this is where I hope it's at.
Uh, Off the cuff, I would say that and not for our namesake, not for our glory, but man, I really do want us to equip the church like it never has been before in the pro-life space.
Mm,
And
yeah.
I think the Lord is creating an on-ramp for us to be able to be used by him
Yeah.
to encourage and equip the church to that end, which is really exciting
Yeah.
for me to think about.
Yeah.
There's many things I could answer, but that's been on my heart a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be cool, even if people never tie our names or even the name MVM to it.
Yeah.
If people look back and say, in 2024, in 2024, something really changed about how the church was
Yeah.
engaged in the pro-life
Yeah,
fight.
absolutely.
That'd be really neat.
Yeah, I know. We said this on. I feel like we said this on one of our earliest podcasts. I think the thing that I am most excited about within this ministry is that we get to equip the church. Not necessarily, if this makes sense, not necessarily the work of family preservation. While I am really passionate and excited about that, it is more so equipping the church to be engaged in the hurting world, to love people with the gospel and with tangible acts of love.
Yeah,
it's exciting to think about.
It is exciting.
Yep. So it's a good question.
Thanks.
It's one of your better ones.
Phew. Just trying to catch up with you, buddy.
But to ask a better question than that. No,
you're so humble.
It's probably on the
So
same
humble.
level. It's on the same level. What is that Ebenezer in your life above all Ebenezers that where you need to be reminded of God's faithfulness that you go to often in seasons of discouragement?
It's hard because I think that this might be a personality thing. I am less likely to hinge a major emotion on like one moment. So it usually is when I'm able to reflect on like a series of things that the Lord put together that have allowed me to be somewhere. And so, have you seen the movie Signs? Have I already talked about Signs on the podcast?
No, we probably should.
So I hate scary movies.
Yep.
Hate them. I do not like to be scared. Do not like to have trouble falling asleep. But I watched Signs, which I think is a pretty good story, a while back because I was peer pressured as a youth to watch it. But at the end of that movie, it's like there are all these weird things that were happening throughout, like the girl leaving glasses of water all over, or his dad saying swing away right before he passed away, or whatever. And even the boy having asthma. So if you haven't seen it, none of this will make sense to you. But at the end of the movie, all of those things work together to allow them to defeat the aliens. um, I'm like saying it like it's so serious that just an alien in their house.
So true.
I mean, is anything scarier when the alien walked by the birthday
No.
party?
No, nothing.
Nothing. Anyways, I have felt that way many times, even with my experience at Boys Town, growing up in a big family, running the daycare with my mom. Like there are just all of these things that I can see the Lord faithfully moving our family or myself somewhere. Even little things about when I was a kid and the way that I connected to the Lord. And so I just feel less likely to say this. There was this one big moment, then I will have moments where I look back and I'm like, okay, Lord, this is why you had us go through this or experience this or drew us to this place, because I can see you carrying me kind of across the waves. If that makes sense.
Yep. I resonate.
Yeah. I was gonna say, are you more of the like singular moment, big Ebenezer type?
There is a singular moment, but in a season where there was a lot of that, and a
Yeah.
long season of that, but there was a singular moment too. So,
Yeah. I think I've had those moments, but to my non credit, I'm not a journaler.
yeah,
And so I feel sometimes like I lose or miss marking those moments because they happen, and I'll maybe even have a really emotional moment with the Lord, and then I'll just
yeah,
walk out of my bedroom and all the kids need me and I
yeah,
get lost again.
yeah. I really do envy those that journal well because
Yes,
I'm
I do
not
too.
that either. I get
Yeah.
like carpal tunnel, like 24 seconds into like writing something. So
I can just picture your journal. It's like 2 words and
yeah,
then just like angry
yeah.
scribbles.
I mean, if only there was like some sort of typing device you could use
Yeah.
to journal instead of
Or even
writing.
like a voice memo.
Yeah,
Is that the word I'm looking
someday,
for? Someday.
someday.
That's how we'll really make our money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but there's those people out there where they're gonna have like dozens of journals
Mhm.
that you can read back on their
Yeah.
life, which is really cool.
My sister is reading through my grandma's journals right now. I
Wow.
mean, she's like telling us, my grandma passed away a few years ago. She's telling us, you were 6, and this is what grandma's saying about what our life was like at that time. And like
Wow.
she has like
That
notes
is
about
really cool.
it is so cool. And then my sister is like that now too. Unfortunately, no one will ever know what happened in my
Yeah.
lifetime.
Nor will they because Lord no.
Lord
Lord
knows
the
I
good
can't
Lord knows at
remember.
this point we're not gonna pick it up. 40
We
plus years
could.
in.
It's actually on my goal list for this year to start journaling,
Where's it at on the
to
list?
grow in journaling and scripture memorization. Those are like 2 of my big things.
I yeah.
There's
You can
something
do it.
about the processing that happens when you're journaling.
Oh yeah.
And Tammy Smith is big on like keep something next to your bed and write down what lie did evil try to tell me today, to
Yeah.
like actively fight before your brain is not as on guard in the way that it is when you sleep, to like actively fight the enemy. So yeah, circle back to me in a year. I'll let
Yeah.
you know if I'm journaling.
We'll ask that a year from today on the podcast.
Yes, good idea.
That'll be one of my questions.
Okay.
How's your journaling going?
Okay, we're going to talk today about prayer. And we kind of set into motion this idea of creating resources for the church that partner well with the podcast. And we already did that once with our lament resource. Um, and we had kind of a whole packet of information and songs and all of this stuff that we put out for the church. And right now we're in the middle of working on one for prayer, and the team's been working hard to put that together. It's actually really fun. At our annual staff retreat, we said the resources we wanted to create, and they claimed like, oh, these are the ones I want to help with, the different members of our team. So lots of different voices will be playing a part in this, but over the next few weeks, we're going to be interviewing different guests and really diving deep into what prayer has meant for us as a ministry, how it impacts our day-to-day life, what rhythms we put in place, etc. And I, you know, have said this now many times on the podcast already, but I came into a staff that already had prayer as a core value because you were part of the team that created the core values along with Mandy and Lori, and just would love to hear maybe a little more of your heart on why is prayer a core value? Maybe that feels like too obvious a question. It just has to be one of the core values of any Christian
Yeah.
ministry, but maybe there are some specifics there for you that you want to unpack.
Yeah, that and like love.
Yeah. Love is not one of our core
I
values,
know.
but should it be?
It's given.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's so I hate that it's cliche, but it's cliche for a reason.
Yeah.
I hope those that actually do have that as a core value want that as a core value and live it out. Um,
Mhm.
it's going to be hard for me to speak to how Mandy and Lori felt about it, but I remember going into it how important it was for us to have that as a core value. Long story short, in our move from Chicago to Columbus, we knew that the Lord was inviting us to pursue kind of holistic community development through incarnational living, which essentially is just a fancy way of
So
saying
many fancy words.
it's just a fancy way of saying but be good neighbors.
Yeah.
It's essentially what that means. And
Just like a Mr. Rogers
yeah,
philosophy of life.
yeah, in so many ways. It's probably what we should have just said. We want to be Mr. Rogers. Um, and in that though, we legitimately looked at over 70 homes, did countless prayer walks in many neighborhoods in Columbus. And it was through a prayer walk in the neighborhood that we're in now that led us to, we believe the Lord's leading to the house that we're in now, if that
Mhm.
makes sense. And so I was coming fresh off of this, like, I think pretty sweet and unique experience with that, of like really, really wanting to be where the Lord wanted us to be. Uh,
Can you tell me like what happened on that prayer walk in that neighborhood that's made it different from the other ones?
well, let me rewind a little bit leading up to that time. So John Perkins, who is like this, many people won't know his name, but he's kind of like the father figure of Christian community development. And one of the things he talks about is that he says you'll hear this from many pastors, preachers, teachers, where they say bloom where you're planted. And
Mhm.
he would make the argument that you need to pray to see where the Lord wants to plant you. And
Mm.
so be more intentional with where you actually end up as opposed to flippantly,
Like,
ending up
this is
somewhere
where I
and then just
am.
say, Lord, use me here, which isn't that
Sure.
necessarily a bad thing, but that really stuck out to me of this. If you want to do kind of this holistic community development, the pursuit of being like a really good neighborhood or a really good neighbor in the neighborhood that you're at. So we really wanted to take a posture of like, Lord, we're here to follow you. And so we were on countless prayer walks throughout many neighborhoods. And there was this one house that we ended up in where we kind of liked, but we were like, I don't know if the house can fit our needs, kind of like the neighborhood. So we decided to go back there and take another prayer walk. And as we were walking throughout the neighborhood, one of our friends that was out of state joined us. And on this prayer walk on the street just south of where we live now, we were walking past this house where there was four men sitting on it, and one of them just shouted out, "What's up, neighbor?" And it just stuck with Aaron and I in a way where it's like, I don't know, it's hard to explain other than
Mm.
the Lord did something with those words
Yeah.
specifically that we're like, this is it.
Yeah.
These are our neighbors. This is the neighborhood that we're going to be intentional with. And so, anyways,
That's cool.
it was really significant. Anyways, and just realizing it was kind of a front porch neighborhood and a handful of other things kind of were illuminated to us on that prayer walk. So
Yeah.
that was fresh on my mind. That was not too long before I started to pursue um, starting a child hosting ministry. And then leading up to that time of doing holistic community development, Isaiah 61 and 62 were key passages leading up to that point, which maybe we'll actually talk about later in another podcast. I've been thinking about it because I think it's actually pretty applicable
Mhm.
to the ministry that we do in so many ways. So hold on to your excitement
Don't
there.
forget those
Yeah.
chapters of the Bible.
Um, we'll talk about maybe a key word, one
Yeah.
key word that's specifically found in
Okay.
the first four verses
So
of
excited.
Isaiah 61. Big teaser out there. Anyways, in Isaiah 61 and Isaiah 62, we talk about this in training. Um, but uh, it's God essentially prophesying about the walls of Jerusalem being rebuilt and the remnant returning back to Jerusalem and them worshiping God as one man. And so that is kind of prophesied in Isaiah 61 and Isaiah 62. He talks about placing watchmen on the walls of Jerusalem where they'll be so relentless in their prayer they give God no rest. And that always stood out to me. And it's just that's the person, while I'm not always great at that, I want to be that person.
Mhm.
And whatever community I'm a part of, that's the community I want to be. Whatever ministry I'm a part of, that's the foundation that is built.
Yeah.
Is obviously one, our relationship with the Lord, our connectedness to the vine, but us being people of prayer
Yeah.
and really having this really it's in this, and we're going to talk about this later, I believe, this acknowledgement of like, man, I want to have this dependency on the Lord. And it's
Yeah.
hard to do that if you're not engaging in a lifestyle of prayer.
Yeah.
It just does build this posture of dependency that I wanted for the ministry,
Mhm.
for the team, for the community, for the churches that we are blessed to come alongside to equip and serve, as well as the families we're blessed to serve.
Mhm.
So I just knew that I wanted the ministry to be built upon prayer, and I was entering into a season alongside of, well, first kind of initially by myself, and then with Lori and Mandy, where like there's just so many unknowns,
Mhm.
where it'd be foolish for us to think that we could do this on our own at all.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of built in, baked into so many ways because we needed to be people of prayer, but then
Mhm.
wanted that to continue to be a posture throughout the ministry. So it's something that we started initially. I mean, that was and this is so simple and easy. I'm sure a million ministries do this, but when we got together, that was like the first thing we do.
Yeah.
And it continues to be a staple of what we do and in so many other ways. So I guess with that, I'll ask you, it is a core value. We
Mhm.
evaluate ourselves on that, on our values every month. But what are the practices that we put in place, the rhythms that we put in place to ensure that we are a ministry that is built upon prayer?
Yeah. I think there's a bunch that have developed over the years. I know we were really intentional with it last year, but for a long time we have always ended every referral line call with prayer. So every mom that calls in, every dad that calls in, when they're speaking to their volunteer, that's how we train them. When our staff's answering the phone, that's what we do too. Every staff meeting, we are praying together. The supervisors are as well. We just added in praying before our podcast recordings too, praying that the Lord would be glorified and use this time and speak through
Even in
us.
the first 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah, even to be glorified through humor and entertainment. um, we added in some new ones based on Ephesians 6 last year. Pray also for me that whenever I speak, I would have words to make known the mystery of the gospel. So, whenever we have opportunities where we might be able to share the gospel, reaching out to others on the team or even in our personal circle to pray over us. I know we've talked about these some before. We're doing prayer walks around our church partners regularly, faithfully. For years, you have sent out a ministry lead email every month that kind of in a little bit more personal way than we could put in a newsletter, which also does have prayer prompts in it.
Yep.
We actually list like here are the stories that you could be praying for this month, or the things that are heavy for the ministry, or the praises. So that's been part of it a long time. I mean, probably each section of training we're praying. I just think that there's been such an intentionality placed around prayer coding every piece of what we're doing. I know we often, even before fundraisers, conferences, staff meeting, pray over each chair of each person where they're going to be
Yep.
sitting for that event. That has been something I have learned and grown in being here. Now, I've been a believer a long time. I've been through seasons of my life where um, I personally was really dependent on prayer. Um, In fact, Jeff and I even ran like a prayer time for the parents at Awaken for a number of years, just really acknowledging that the very best thing we could do for our kids was prayer. But it's been a really unique experience for me to step into a place where we have some knowledge and expertise, and it can be tempting to lean on those things first. Um, and so to pull back and intentionally say, like, why might I have 8 ideas for this parent, but I'm going to stop and pray first.
Yep.
There is this like an intentional turning away from yourself as the solution or your own knowledge as the solution and turning to, okay, the Lord is going to be the best solution. You often say, like, the Lord can do more in 5 minutes of prayer than we could accomplish in 5 months of hard work. And so, man, there have been times where we were spinning our wheels at staff meeting for a long time about a hard situation. And then we stop to pray. So we've gotten this wrong a lot too, where we're tempted to figure out solutions on our own. And then we stop to pray. And then um, while we're praying, we've gotten a text from somebody like, hey, my housing just came through. or a host family saying, who maybe was frustrated and ready to give up on a hosting, hey, I just spent some time with the Lord and my heart is softened and I can't wait to go back and serve this mom tomorrow. Where in the moment of prayer, we've gotten news that God has changed something. And that, I think that happening over and over has grown my dependency on prayer as the solution. Not to say I don't regularly struggle with control and wanting to like figure things out myself still, but yeah, it just has grown it.
Um, A couple no,
Did
that's
I get
good.
them all?
No,
Did I get all the
no, the couple
rhythms?
that we're gonna highlight that we're doing this year,
Yeah.
which we may have mentioned already on another podcast, so I apologize if this is repetitive, but I'm really excited about the prayer protection that we're doing from
Yeah.
Psalm 91, specifically in host families' homes, but then also with coaches. But then one thing that we're doing, again, not to boast, but hopefully as an encouragement to you as churches that know that we believe that this is one of the greatest ways we can serve you
Mm-hmm.
is to fight for you in prayer.
Yeah.
Any new person that's onboarded in any role is written up on the board and we pray for them
Yeah.
that next staff meeting.
Yeah.
Like I love that we do that,
Yeah.
you
I do
know?
too.
And that's a privilege and a joy
Mm-hmm.
for us to be able to do that. And so,
Yeah. Can I add one in more?
yeah.
We, scripture is really clear about praying for workers in the harvest
Oh,
field.
yeah.
And we've got so many ideas of how to do church engagement. Even in the nonprofit world, you like hear all these ideas and
Yep.
here's how you do your marketing and communications and all this stuff for churches. And there was a season early on in my staff time
Yep.
where we one time had to cancel a training because we did not have 12 people at it. And we had said ahead of time, we're going to only throw trainings if we get at least 12 people. It takes a lot of staff
Yep.
hours and time, and the church gives the space. And we had to cancel a training. I think we had 9 or 10 people sign up for it. And
And that's a hard call to make, but
it's a hard call to make because you're like, man, we could use those 9 or
yeah.
10 people, but we'll push them to the next
Yeah.
training. And we want to pray that this was the number the Lord gave us. We want to pray that he brings that number if he
Yeah.
wants
Right,
us to
wrong,
throw
or
it.
indifferent.
Yeah.
That's what we've
Yeah. You
decided
might
to do.
disagree,
Yeah.
but that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
But I would say around that time is when we started doing prayer walks occasionally at churches, not as much as we did last
Well,
year.
there was a call where we gave all on staff.
Everybody on
Yeah.
staff did a prayer walk before the next
Yep.
training. And we have never again been below 20 even
Yep.
at a training since that time.
Yep.
And we have a training this Saturday with over 50 people signed up for it.
Yeah.
And so there has been something about all of our strategies falling short.
Yep.
And aren't people dumb? Like we all have to like fail ourselves before
Oh,
we
my
realize what
word.
God said in the first place. There's been something about all of our strategies failing and then saying, well, the Lord told us pray for the workers in the harvest field, not market well, not try harder, not tell your small group, but pray for workers in the harvest field. And so that's what we need to be doing. And we've never had a time again where just intentionally surrounding a training, we sent everybody out to pray, but we'd more regularly pray that in staff meeting and pray
Oh,
around our
yeah.
churches.
Absolutely.
And we have seen it be really fruitful.
Yep. It's like the Lord doesn't want us to get too big of heads if it was just upon our efforts and strategy and
Yeah.
game plan that we put together to market well and to recruit churches. It's like, no, rely upon the Lord providing the compassionate workers in the harvest field. And he's done that time and time again.
Yeah.
And I would say, yeah, since that time, I think we've been even more. It was like a light bulb did go off. We are like, oh, that prayer kind of worked.
Yeah.
Like,
hey,
maybe we should continue to.
Yeah.
But and I hope we never lose that. It'd be easy. To your point, we haven't had one below 20, and it'd be easy for us to think, well, we've gotten
got it
this figured out.
Yeah.
And I don't want to grow lax in that. You know what I mean? I want the right workers to come because we actually were faithful in praying Matthew 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you find that balance then between really trying to do your work excellently without depending on yourself, but keeping your dependency on the Lord and in prayer? Because to that point, there are good ideas probably about marketing and communications that would help get more volunteers in the door. There's great ideas and learning and development that we have spent time and money on for our staff to allow them to be more excellent in serving the families. Like My Village, even as a model, is a great idea as a way to be preventative and help serve families. And so how do you pursue with excellence, development, growth, knowledge, without it becoming knowledge puffs up and we're just
Yeah,
Like,
that's a good
how do you
word.
keep that
Yeah,
dependency?
knowledge puffs up, love builds up.
Mhm.
Um, so I think hopefully you can see the connection here, but it's uh I'm just going to steal from the life of David, where I believe it's Psalm 78, 72. Ben, the Bible theologian, can correct us on
I'll
this.
look it up while you're saying
But I
it.
believe it's Psalm 78, 72, where it says, speaking of David, it's Asaph that is writing that psalm, but he speaks of David where he says, and he, speaking of David, shepherded them with the integrity of heart, but with skillful hands he led them.
Mm,
And I love that because there's this balance you see in David's leadership of being and doing. He
mhm.
shepherded them with the integrity of heart. You can't shepherd someone with the integrity of heart. That cannot be said. That statement cannot be true of you if you were not a man after God's own heart,
Mhm.
like David
Yeah.
was. We know obviously he had his flaws and his missteps, big
Mhm.
failures, but that's described of him that he was a man after God's own heart. But he was skillful. And so we need to be both,
Yeah.
I think, in a ministry. And he wants people to use their gifts that he's blessed them with to serve faithfully and
Yeah.
to be good and excellent at what you do. He calls us to excellence. You see that in scripture time and time again. We should be the standard setters of excellence in this world today as Christ followers. So
Mhm.
we need to do what we do well,
Yeah.
but we need to be the people he calls us to be men and women of character, of integrity. And
Mhm.
the only way you can do that is if you're connected to the vine and if you're a man or a woman of prayer.
Yeah.
And so that I think when you do that, it does, I think when you truly want to be connected to the Lord in prayer and to really take a posture of dependency, he honors that.
Mhm.
I think in a way that's hard to kind of put into words.
Yeah.
But I want to be to hopefully this answers as well. I want us to do a lot of brainstorming, a lot of whiteboarding, a lot of thinking as a team on how do we with skillful hands lead the church
Mhm.
and to lead people and to love them well.
Yeah.
We got to do that well. But we miss the mark if we're also not the people that are connected to the vine, that are men and women that are after God's own heart. With
Yeah.
the integrity of heart, he shepherded them.
Yeah.
We will not shepherd well. We
Yeah.
will not care for well. We will not serve well if we're not the people that he wants us to be. And I think the only way you can do that is to be connected to the vine and prayer to be a pretty monumental piece of that. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah. Do you think I can testify personally to how much more rich my prayer life has been when I'm walking through a season of
Yep.
hardship or suffering. And we're not always going to be in seasons of hardship and suffering. Sometimes we won't. Sometimes it feels like we are always going to be in them. Do you think that believers have any responsibility to, in any way, manufacture situations that create dependency on the Lord, or that you just kind of wait and obey and that stuff's going to come up?
Well, I mean, if you follow the writings, the teachings, not the teachings of Christ, um, you will do that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, this was the purpose of the law, is to kind of create this like dependency and need for someone to do it, knowing that you can't.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Jesus says, "Be perfect, therefore, as I am perfect."
Mhm.
You know what I mean? He says, to hate to love your enemies. He tells you you know, to deny yourself so much, to take up a cross and follow him. Like those are all things you can't. So if you want to be obedient to the teachings of Christ,
Yeah.
you will place yourself in positions where you're in constant need of him.
Mhm.
I can't forgive people when I don't want to, but he tells us to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can't love as perfectly as he does. I can't hate my mother and father in a way that reflects how I love Christ is so reflective in the way that I live my life that it shows essentially some sort of level of hate that I have towards you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that comparison, if that makes sense at all.
Yes.
But
No, it did.
anyways, um, like if you want to be obedient to Jesus, it does
It's going to
it's
create
going to
it
do that.
even when you're not in a season of
Yeah.
suffering.
Yeah. But I mean in this minute, I mean what the one thing we're afforded in this ministry is that it's not an easy ministry. So we're always going to be placed in positions of dependency.
Yeah.
No, but there is great temptation. We're all tempted when when we're in crisis, we think we can figure it out. And I
Mhm.
think in America, we're tempted to do that even more so in an expeditious way because we have so many resources at our
Yeah.
disposal. And so there is that allure uh, by the things of this world to try to solve that issue or
Mhm.
to mitigate it or to dissolve it by the way of distractions or,
Yeah.
other means of solutions other than Christ and his wisdom,
Yeah.
and to come into him in prayer. I don't know if I answered that at all, but yeah, what are your thoughts
Yeah.
there? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I've heard just to get to, like, a really practical level, I've heard teachings on, fasting being, like, this great way to recognize our dependency on God, and I think there's a variety of things you can fast from. Um, and I think that's a little bit of what I was getting at is like, is it our responsibility to do something? I think repentance is another great spiritual practice.
oh yeah,
To your
well
point of
said.
what you were just saying, when we're actively practicing repentance, it makes us aware of our sin in a different way. Because you could end your day thinking that you're forgiving and loving and all these things that you just said we can never do on our own because you aren't necessarily practicing repentance and recognizing the sin in your life. So I think that can increase your dependency on the Lord too. I think as a volunteer with my village before I was ever on staff, I was already experiencing. Maybe you guys hadn't started doing the walks around churches praying for the workers as much, but maybe you were already. But I was experiencing that the staff was so quick to pray with me when way quicker than you guys were to give me advice on things. And I think that already,
Probably because we didn't know what advice to give.
yeah, we didn't know what we were doing. So that's the real answer to manufacture dependency on the Lord. Just go do something where you're out of your depth, out
Yeah.
of your comfort zone, and I mean, I know I shared my story a few weeks ago, but when Jeff and I moved to Boys Town, and it was just the first day that we were alone in the house with 6 teenage girls in this like structure we had to follow and this connection we had to make with them. I can't. I mean, it's everything. It's 16 hours of your day. It's your whole life becomes that, and you just have no idea what you're doing. And the dependency that we had on the Lord to just survive every hour, even if nothing crazy was going on, was pretty wild. So, and maybe people feel similarly if they go on a mission trip or they're trying to share the gospel. I mean, really, every time you share the gospel, there's this aspect of I need the Lord to show up for this,
Yeah.
so that it's not just my words, but it's coming in power. And anyways, all that to say, I experienced right away when we were volunteers. Um, Lori was our coach, that she was shepherding us always through prayer. That was what she was quick to offer as our supervisor, way above and beyond advice and or even reminders to be compassionate. It was praying over us, praying with us for those things, asking us to pray too, because your heart is softened in prayer in a different way than when someone's just praying over you.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, I think there's been a piece of this ministry that has increased our dependency on the Lord so much, and he continues to do in his mercy. For some reason our flesh continues to desire independency. Our flesh continues to desire to be self-sufficient. Like I right now would like to be more self-sufficient in multiple ways. um, and it's hard to remember that the real gift and the mercy of the Lord is a dependency on him.
Well, I do hope that we can continue to have this heart of dependency on the Lord through prayer. I hope that has been seen and felt by you church partners out there that have
Yeah.
come alongside as we've come alongside you to serve in this family preservation work. And we're excited because we're going to have multiple more podcasts coming
Mhm.
out where we have
Yep.
special guests coming on to speak to kind of the heart and why of prayer, even give you tools
Mhm.
that I think will equip you to even I think excite you to
Yeah.
engage in the work and ministry of prayer and to really have this dependency on the Lord. So stick with us. I think you're going to be really excited to hear what some of these special guests have to say. And again, giving you more tools to use, much like you said with the lament stuff.
Yeah.
We're rolling that out for prayer, and
Yeah.
so really excited about the what's the word we're using? Package, not a package.
Yeah, yeah, call
Module.
module.
Prayer packet.
Yeah,
I've just been saying module,
yeah.
but
Anyways,
Module's great.
I think you're gonna like it.
Yeah.
So stick with us.
Yep. And
Tomorrow's
tomorrow's
the
the
next
next
day.
day.